Okay, I'm getting ready to open up another Bitcoin trade with BitU. It's been a few days since I closed out the last one, but I'm getting ready to open another one and I'm going to be more aggressive when it comes to how much I'm accumulating because I truly believe that we haven't bottomed out. We haven't bottomed out yet, but we're getting near it and it can happen soon. Now, to illustrate a lot of this, I'm going to talk about it after these two articles that caught my attention. Nothing too crazy, but it's very interesting to see these articles where Cuba turns to Bitcoin and crypto to survive 60 plus years of US sanctions. And then, of course, strategy buying another bundle of Bitcoin. They're going up to $71 billion invested into Bitcoin, if I'm correct. And that's very, very cool because regardless of what anyone thinks of strategy, their opinions on the company, they're still pouring money into Bitcoin, right? And at the end of the day, that's all that matters is more money going into Bitcoin, creating a stronger foundation, less likely for the price to, aggressively dip down because everything that comes out pretty much he's putting in plus a little bit extra, right? At the end of the day. So it's just positive money for Bitcoin. But let's talk about this chart and when I plan to really begin accumulating a lot. So if you guys are new and you haven't been seeing the previous videos on yesterday's video, and I'm not going to talk about Mara in this one. I've been talking about Mara recently, but I made a video on it yesterday and my opinion hasn't changed. So there's no reason to make another one today. But basically, yesterday we were keeping track of this sideways consolidation pattern as the volume lowers, allowing the price to sharpen. We finally got a breakout. And in yesterday's video, I said high probability that it breaks the downside based on two things. And that's going to be that we're still keeping an eye on discounted prices down here around 110K. Ideally, this is just an overall retracement from this move right here to the upside all the way up to all-time high. Overall retracement around 110K is ideally what I'm keeping an eye on, at least at the moment. But, like I said in yesterday and videos before that, during market open hours in the US, I plan to accumulate early, understanding that even though a lot of the optimism in the market is beginning to fade away due to, higher than expected CPI report, I still believe that there's a lot of optimism enough to at least pump Bitcoin, regardless of what the overall markets are doing. But yeah, first reason is we haven't gotten that bullish confirmation. I mean, it broke to the downside. It briefly broke below this swing low, so now we're keeping an eye on this next swing low right here, just under 116K is a next area. This will allow this first imbalance to get filled. We can even see a little bit of smaller picture bullish corrections to keep an eye on the next retracement to see if we're going to start pumping a little bit earlier than expected. But regardless, until we get bullish confirmation, eyes are down here. Second reason is, well, like I said earlier, a lot of this optimism in the broad market is beginning to fade away because now these optimistic expectations, I have no idea exactly when they started, of everyone thinking they were going to have an earlier than expected rate cut. But now with this CPI that came out recently, like, it's not realistic to expect a rate cut like after next week. It's just it's silly. But who knows? We can have a dovish meeting even if there's no rate cut. So that can be positive as well, especially if the price of Bitcoin trends down into the nice retracement. And this blue area, if you guys are new, it's basically, so red is the retracement for the whole move up from when we bottomed out in deep discount. I believe that was 98.2K. We've been keeping track of the price higher. We finally got this sideways consolidation, some weakness, allowing the price to potentially come down. And then within this structure, the blue area is an extension to the downside based off of this move right here. So it's overlapping very nicely around 110, 111K, right? But now, if the price can easily reverse higher, of course, it can do so many different things. But as long as we continue to see short-term bearish momentum, because the price is, once again, underneath the 0.35 orange retracement, underneath 117.7K. So if we continue to see overnight leading into the first trading day of this week, prices continuing to weaken, I plan to accumulate early. It's as simple as that. I'm gonna accumulate probably 5 to 10K worth of BitU. And then the moment we break into the red, I will be accumulating a bit more aggressively. I want to probably invest this time around, because last time before we had this pump that just kept going up higher, I only ended up investing 50K into it, and I wanted to do 70K. So I'm gonna try to take an opportunity to do that again this time around. But now my confidence with support is a lot stronger, because previously we were trying to see if this extension will max out. It never maxed out, and especially in the short term too, even with this dip that we've seen today, the RSI has not exhausted itself to the bottom yet. So we still have, potential of potential continuation of bearish momentum, at least in the short term. Now, if and again, the idea is what I'm doing, and this is all just my opinion, but what I'm doing is I want to accumulate early and finish accumulating the 70K below 115K, ideally around 110K, with the idea that even regardless of what happens on the FOMC meeting, because a lot of time if something is we've seen this happen so many times this year and even last year, but when there's expectations now, realistic expectations of what's going to happen, we still have a decent amount of time before the FOMC meeting happens. I think it's like 8 days or something like that away. So if the price continues to trade discount leading up to it, it could just factor everything that's going to happen. Fed wanting to hold rates, wanted to see further evidence of, inflation going down and future CPI reports and so on. So there's a lot of reasons for them to hold. So, but he can still say, we're expecting another one good one, or maybe 2 small rate cuts this year. Who knows what he's going to say? But the idea is that we can see a potential buy the news regardless, because the price will be discounted. This is only, of course, again, if we're below 115K, in my opinion, especially if we break below 110K a little bit, to max out this red a bit more. We can just see a bullish reaction afterwards, potentially. But the price has to come down prior to that, just before the meeting happens for that to potentially play out. But regardless of what happens, regardless of what's happening in the macro, basically, guys, it's as simple as that. I am looking to open up another BitU position. I plan to add, if the price holds below 117.7K leading into market open tomorrow, I will add some capital. I'll probably start off strong, to be honest, and then average it down every time we reach another fib line. So, the next one up is basically 115.3K. Then we have 114.5, 113.5, and then finish accumulating ideally between 108 and 110.5K if the opportunity presents itself. And then at that point, I will be, continuing to hold the position, because, in the bigger picture, I'm not going to worry about it too much, but in the bigger picture, we are moving higher. We're just, ever so slightly discounted right now. It can come down a little bit more, get a nice overall higher low within a proper retracement, and then we can finally, and this will allow the price too to break below. You can't really see it, but it will allow the price to break below 114.5K, which is the first green overall bull market, conservative bull market top estimate. It will break below that line, allowing the price to retrace out of it. And we've seen this happen in smaller pictures. We've seen this happen so many times. Last year, this year, just like here, where we have a major extension, where we break into it briefly, come out, eventually max it out. But when we come out of the extension area, it allows the bulls to really reset and build up more steam. So that's something I'm very much looking forward to. Is I don't know if this is a psychology thing, or I don't know exactly how this element unravels in the market, but it's something that I look for very often. But yeah, if we come down into this area, it'll be super super attractive to accumulate more aggressively, and then because we have enough momentum to reach the overall green area, and this can go all the way up to 150k. um if we have enough momentum to even reach it, that means there is enough buyers in the background. There is enough momentum to eventually reach the next. Of course, it doesn't have to happen, but it's super rare when it doesn't. Especially that this bull cycle isn't done, and we have rate cuts eventually will happen, regardless of what the CPI was last week. But 128k, we can easily reach that. So buying, you know, especially around 110k, with the idea of the price going to 128k, is really really good. And of course, I'm not using money that I am not willing to lose. I can lose the 70k completely if I get the opportunity to invest it all, and I'll be completely fine. I really don't care. Uh, that's the important thing about trading, is focusing on your position sizing and what really matters to you. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let's see if we get a really good opportunity. Let's see if we can get some nice discounted prices going to the buy area. That's what I'm looking for personally. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and take care.